I'm not sure if the choice I'm about to make is going to be the right one, but this time I've planned it out a little differently. I'm using a mix of things I know work and a few twists that I haven't tried before to hopefully get through some of these spots where I typically fail. Honestly, I'm a little nervous. If I mess this up, it'll be months before I get another shot at it, but at least I can keep reminding myself that when it all does crash and burn, there's always next time. Because this run, this is my throwaway. The one that doesn't really matter. To get to the point where a few of those decisions can be made, there's a couple resources that I need to collect. Some of them are not going to be important right away, but then there's others that are going to be very important very quickly, and very, very crucial. Food is still one of the hardest parts at the beginning of any of these runs, but thankfully with the help of the dinosaurs, it's kind of a little bit more manageable. It still sucks, it's still full of poison, still full of toxin, but it slightly out-heals more than it hurts. Resource collecting is also very important because somehow in every run I manage to throw all of my stuff away in the nether. I get a bunch of really cool things, I feel great, I feel powerful, and then it's gone and I have to start over from scratch. So at least if I collect a bunch of things now, then when it happens, it's not as bad. It still sucks, but God, every time. Maybe this one will be different. One of the challenging resources to collect early on is leather, because with all the dinosaurs around there, we don't really get too much of the regular animals in their drops, so the nether was where we had to go for it, and I thought, why not take Mr. Beefman along with me? If I could convince him to work alongside with me and bond over our time here in the nether, he'd be a great addition to the team, because he just has this naturally intimidating aura about him. It's great when you're trying to convince people that you want them to do what it is that you want them to do. Plus, I really needed to get one of these, because not important right now, but definitely later, and I think that's what won him over. Now, after we parted ways, I returned back to the nether, because there was a couple things that I really, really needed to get. The first one was gold, the second one was that I needed to get a blaze rod, and then the third one was going to be even more important. If we were going to take over the place and rule as the leaders of all these people, we needed something that would intimidate them. And I knew that just underneath the nether fortress there was a little old, I don't really know what it was, but it had banners already made in here with really intimidating things of the wither. And also there was a staff that, if I didn't get this, I wouldn't really survive in the battle that was about to come. A week after we arrived, there's this huge explosion sound in the ground rumble during the night, and then when we all wake up, we get together and come in to investigate what it is, which is also when I first meet Peaches, and we give him a very motivational speech to help get him in the mood of survival.
Here, have a fresh sample of Papa Archie's excellent meat, the family recipe.
Don't call it excellent meat. You have to change the name of that.
What's wrong with me taking a nibble of Archie's meat?
No.
Yes.
Archie's meat tastes amazing in my mouth.
I know.
Oh my God.
Meat, and everyone should have some.
With motivations and spirit now high, we made our way over to the crash site to see that an ender portal, I still have no idea how, but an ender portal fell out of the sky. But something wasn't right, because 4 people were missing. 3 of them were very important. Thankfully, the 4th one showed up just a few moments after. There she is. But yeah, we were still missing Blue, we were missing Beefman, and we were missing Emily. Blue is one of the key figures in defeating the Ender Dragon. It's the times where he's not there to help us defeat it, we either barely manage to scrape through, which doesn't happen super often, or we don't defeat it right away, and then we lose all of our stuff, and we have to go back and try again later, which delays us from getting elytra, which makes some of the next challenges coming up a lot more difficult, and then we don't get a lot of the stuff in time, and it just... this meant I was probably going to have to throw a couple of my cards on the table I was hoping to use later, because there was this one run where Beefman had this really cool armor, and he managed to convince everybody he was a god, and then they all worshipped him like a deity, and I really wanted to try that out for this run, but it involves a bit more setup than just throwing on the armor, so fortunately it doesn't look like that's going to be able to happen this time. But at least I was able to throw a couple things out there that hopefully Finn or Emma would latch onto. I happened to find a book out while I was exploring of a previous survivor who told me everything I needed to know about the meteor.
Oh, really?
Did you?
That's convenient.
Yeah, it was very convenient. It was in the temple, north or south of here.
Very specific.
Those are
yes.
very completely
Wow.
opposite directions, but
For
okay.
sure. No, that makes sense to me.
If I had to pick a direction, it was probably north. Thank God Emily showed up a little bit after, because there's always 3 canon deaths that occur after this battle that we're about to go and enter. And so I tried to pick the 3 that were going to be the least problematic over the next period of time, and Emily was one of them. So if she wasn't here, that was going to change a lot of plans, and I wasn't prepared for it. But Blue missing is still going to be one of the biggest problems. I don't know what I did differently that stopped him from showing up this time, especially when I hear this. Oh, do you guys have, like, arrows and bows and stuff like that?
I have
Nope.
a stone sword.
3 arrows. I don't have a bow.
I was extremely nervous going into the fight, and for good reason, because even as soon as we got through there, none of the fighting had started and we had already had our first death. We still worked together, we got over to where we needed to be, and then the chaos began. I mean, it would have been easier if everybody knew what was going on and that the dragon was going to do a bunch of different things, but I had no way to really explain it to them without them starting to ask questions like, how did you know? What's going on? And yeah, I forgot how hard it could hit. It hit really hard. We hadn't made much progress at all, and it was usually about this point that Blue would be wailing away at it and have a good chunk of its health gone, or giving directions or instructions of what we should be doing, or, I mean, sometimes he would just take care of it all on his own, but we didn't have that.
Yeah, this is an experience.
This is a great first date, not gonna lie.
I knew that, unfortunately, I'd have to play my card now and put on my special armor, and while I look really cool and really wanted to go the route of being their god and their leader, but I wasn't gonna be able to do that, so all the stops had to come out. I just had to do everything I could to defeat this dragon, because without it, I don't know if we were gonna be able to. Especially when they were coming up with plans like this one.
Dragon, we're here to seduce you.
Oh, hi. Oh, hey. Hey, sweet cheeks. How you doing?
Even the dragon didn't like that idea, and it started to get a bit more aggressive earlier than it usually does, which made things a lot more complicated. I started to wonder if this was something we were even going to be able to stop. Nobody could do too much damage to it, and it just kept killing us over and over and over again. I mean, I was doing okay for now, but eventually my armor would run out of durability, and I didn't have too many resources left, and then yeah. And then this started. The phase that always gets super dangerous.